to our live stream here on lichess and Twitch. International Master William Paschall. Paschall. What is up, guys? Alright. Good to see everybody. Masturbate. Someone on sound. Move 11. Mubat. Good to have you. Only the serious devotees are here this early. The most serious of the serious analysts of chess and the word escapes me. Connoisseurs. Only the greatest connoisseurs of chess analysis for my stream. Present this early on a Thursday night. Masturbate, Move 11, and someone on sound along with Mubot. Good to see you. Most of you are human. One bot. So, birthday week. My birthday will be very soon. So, I think tomorrow we'll call it the pre-birthday stream. This is just an informal announcement. If you want to send any gifts my way for the birthday, it's coming up very fast. Tomorrow will be the pre-birthday blitz stream. Alright, so here's my list, what I've got for game analysis. World Loser, what's up? Good to see you too. WJ Loof, Jim, Princess Chess, Move 11, Sata, Mirales. That's 5, 6. We got 6. Masturbate, why are you not on the list? You should be on the list. Shouldn't you? Masturbate, please confirm. Man, it's funny. I thought I put you on a list yesterday, but I think I meant to and forgot. I was putting someone else on the list at the same time when Masturbate submitted a game. And I put one person, but not him. He is a VIP. You can't separate body from mind. Alright. Move 11, welcome. I'm going to get started here. WJ actually was the first one to submit a game for this week. Okay, a victory from the Pond of Swiss. I thought we missed one. So yeah, your other upset that I haven't yet seen from the Pond of Swiss against Botan. Botan's like 1950, high 1900s. You beat that player as well. Nice win. We'll take a look at that in the middle of the pack, I think. I think you should have been about 4th or 5th on the list. I'm going to put you in there. Alright guys, what's up? Welcome to the stream. I usually get some late submissions for the analysis stream. We're doing game analysis of subscriber games, primarily. It's a little break from playing for me. I've had a long day, lots of lessons. I am a professional chess coach. If anybody's interested in taking lessons, I don't have a lot of openings, generally speaking, but occasionally I do. So if you're still interested and you're serious about taking regular lessons, I don't really like doing like 1 or 2 and then people go quit, you know. Occasionally I get people that want to be like taking 1 lesson or 2 lessons. If you're interested in taking weekly lessons on a regular basis, you're a professional loser. I don't think so, man. I don't think so. Alright. WJ Loof was the first. Guys, please support the stream if you can afford it. Birthday presents are welcome. Coming up on Saturday is my birthday, the 39th birthday, of course. Jim, 200 bits. Agnes Karajewski, 100 bits. And Batman for 51. No gift subs this week. Sad. Alright. So, what do I got here? Got it back in the list. We got to go back in time to find this long ago. WJ Loof. Man, I need a glass of water. I am a little thirsty suddenly. Beer is not really thirst quenching. Let's do some water. So that's messages from me. We had here. After seeing the game you reviewed last week, I'm resolved to play stronger players and in longer formats. This is the right game. Why am I so thirsty? I don't think I'm drinking enough water since the weather started getting colder. I was drinking tons of water. Did I just put water in my coffee? Oh man, it's nasty. There was a tiny bit of coffee in the bottom of my coffee cup, and I just poured the water in, but whatever. Alright, not drinking enough fluids. Sparkling water. This is actually still. Alright, I don't really like the tap water here. Old pipes, you know. Like old city pipes, very likely could have lead or something. Blunder Panda. Ironically panda, but I can't be, no. I don't think so. Alright, you received this, yes. This is WJ Loose submission. Uh-oh. You put flavored sparkling water in your coffee? Are you serious? That's weird, man. Are you like one of those weird Europeans or something? You're supposed to get like sparkling water next to your coffee, Coach Ah, not like put it in your coffee. Alright. You sure you don't have early onset? WJ Loof. Against the draw offerer. The offerer of pregame draws. Sorry, not interested. Alright. It's Anna the Red against WJ. D4, D5, C4, nice. The Albin. Coach Ah said you never do that. Oh, alright. I was worried, man. I thought you really put sparkling water in your coffee. The Albin's gotta be a good move to like derail some sort of overinflated title player. Sama on Sound is an expert. This is definitely playable at WJ Loose level. The Albin went through a little bit of a phase 15 years ago. A little bit after I first moved to Budapest, it started getting real popular in like 2005. It was played by Morozevich, Kazimjanov. It's actually not that easy for white. So don't like quit playing this. I wouldn't make it my only weapon though. You know, I think the Albin is ideal as a kind of like surprise opening. If you play it every single game, you become too predictable. If you're going to play the same players in a club or in the same setting, like someone on Sound, I don't think it's a good idea to play it consistently, you know. It's something you try out from time to time. So, takes and D4, correct. Correctamundo. Knight F3 and then Knight C6, also correct. And now Knight BD2. Right, so I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, traditionally it used to be G3, then Knight on BD2. Some people say that A3 is the best move. It's hard to say which is the best. I really don't know. I played this move myself. And now, I think someone on Sound's games against me went along relatively normal lines. You're supposed to play Knight GE7 and play Knight G6, and you go for that pawn. I'm sorry, you go for that pawn on E5. More or less. Yeah, I mean, E4 I don't think is a great move. It's a move. But I don't think that it's dangerous. So Spassky apparently played that. Well, E3 is like a famous mistake. As long as you don't play E3. Because we should show the classic trap, right? It totally makes sense to play E3 to undermine the center. But this is like the one move that isn't very good. Bishop E4 check, Bishop D2, pawn takes pawn. And then if bishop takes b4, pawn takes pawn check. Isn't this right? What happened? WJ Loof is here. Oh, there's an even better example. Right. So it's like e3 right away. If I really want to prove my point, I should be showing you e3 right away. e3 right away, bishop b4 check, bishop d2, pawn takes pawn. And then it's like losing the queen, isn't it? Pawn takes pawn here. And then you take this, promoting to a knight check. And you win the queen if he takes it back with bishop g4. Thanks WJ for the donation, 500 bits from the player in question. Right. A lot of Albin. Albin was a Romanian folk beer. Was Albin Romanian? I didn't realize that. Was he really? It's interesting. I guess the name makes sense. Sounds kind of Latin or something. Yeah, I don't know much about the history of Albin. He is another one of those sort of stock players from 150 years ago. Alright. Anyway, let's just get to the game. So knight f3, I've also played this like she did. But bishop e4 is not really right. I mean, I remember having a hard time against the guy. I was unable to beat the 2100 player once who, I think he just played like bishop f5 or something against me. Bishop f5 or even bishop e6. This is kind of like an older style of play. I guess where you're going to try to play for queen d7, and if white plays g3, you still go for bishop h3 or something like that. But the modern idea is this, to do knight e7. I mean, it's kind of weird because it's not like really Albin's like all-out attacking style. You're going back after the pawn you sacrificed. That seems kind of weird. It's like knight b3, and now you've got to defend this with knight f5. And someone on sound, I don't know if he's here or not. He was in the stream earlier, but he knows all these lines. We had a bunch of games like this. And you just got to play like an endgame. You just play an endgame. I mean, it's really weird to play this aggressive gambit where you're going into like an endgame down a pawn. But it's like white's structure isn't great. He ends up taking back, and it's like isolated pawn. The c pawn's a little bit like kind of in the way. You can see here 11 games with g6 and almost nobody lost. These are correspondence games, but you can pretty much trust this variation. I had a hard time against someone on sound getting any kind of advantage. But it's not this attacking kind of gambit play you would expect. So that's how it normally goes. Let's see what happened. Bishop b4. Alright. This feels more like Budapest Gambit or something. I mean, I guess white has to get developed. What did they play? They could play a3, but that's kind of slow, so this is natural. This is a big no.
N-O.
You never ever like release attention in that kind of way, giving up your bishop. I don't see any benefit of this. You want white to have to waste time with something like a3. Maybe a5 you could play with the idea that if white tries a3 you could back off or something. I guess a5 is interesting. You could have the option to either take or retreat. But bishop takes d2 unprovoked. This is completely illogical. You just take a lot of pressure off of white by playing this move. So clearly we have to develop, and I don't know how safe castling queenside is. So I guess I would go with either knight e7 or bishop e6. It looks like Sagacik's got some games there. Not too many strong players are willing to play the black side of the Albin. Sagacik played weird openings. He also played the... Actually, Coach, you know him. Gennady played the Veresov with white. So he probably played this kind of structure like when he was white in those weird Veresovs. There's no top games with bishop takes d2. I can't believe it. No. But Sagacik played bishop e6. But it's not great for black either way. But I mean, at least this way we're getting some development. We're threatening bishop takes c4. White has to think now. How is she going to protect c4? Probably White might give the pawn up. I would say like bishop g2, bishop takes c4, castles is a good way. Here's a Shabalov game against the Sagacik, ironically. Shaba just sacked the pawn back for dynamism. But he was unable to win, interestingly. That's totally possible. Ozul and Sorokin, all these good players with white. So this is totally a mistake. Very disappointing. Bishop takes d2 check. Now white can recapture either way. With the bishop takes, we'll probably have b4, b5. Maybe bishop f4. Queen takes is also possible with the idea of fianchettoing. With b3 or a3, b4, and bishop b2. So white has either recapture and an advantage now. It looks like the computer preferred to take with the queen. Now this is W.J. Lu's idea, I suppose, to get the pawn back. But you're not really getting it back because you're going to have to like sell your pawn on b7. You can't really take on e5 without dropping the pawn on b7 at the end of the day. So it's all a lie. You're basically not going to get your pawn back. And you've sold your bishop on b4 for nothing. You didn't get a good deal here. You got suckered into giving up your bishop for nothing. And you're not even going to get your pawn back. So I don't know what to recommend now. Taking is definitely making it worse. Now white has the bishop pair like raking the board. Look at the range of these pieces. This is the range of white's bishops. It's going to be immense. Just huge pyramids of control. Again, bishops are worth more than knights. If you got your pawn back, I'd be like, alright, I guess you should take on e5. But you're not even getting your pawn back. This is just like not only losing this pawn, but now you're going to be like your king is jeopardized in the middle of the board. So it's several mistakes. Yeah, I mean, it's a really strange move by Anna the Red, Gandalf the Grey. Why in the world would she play Queen A4 check? What is that? Hey, I want to make sure black doesn't take my pawn. I mean, I want to make sure I can't take that pawn on b7. Why would she reject this? Is it that she's afraid of rook b8? She must have convinced herself there's something here with rook b8. I mean, if you're really materialistic, white could probably pull this off, like check here and queen takes a7. Actually, I don't know what to play. This actually looks pretty good for white. Yeah, she had convinced herself you would get counterplay, I guess. If she just retreats normally, you have like rook takes b2. You can never take on c4 because of queen a4 check, but I guess rook takes b2 isn't that bad. Anna the Red is the player who offered me a draw once before the game. I'm sorry. with black too. I was like, what? No. Rook b8, queen a4 check. It did put a lot of pressure on me though, and I almost lost until she couldn't win a winning king and pawn in game. But it's a problem when you like decline someone's draw. It's like the onus is on you to beat them even more. Like, she offered a draw to me before the game. I said no. So that sets me up in a situation where there's like this awkward pressure. Like, I declined her pregame draw, so now I have to like try extra hard to beat her. It's just not really good to do that. You know, if you're friends, it's like one thing, but when it's a stranger, you just don't like offer them draws before the game. It's psychologically kind of weird. No, she seems nice enough though. We're always friendly. WJ Loof. That one thing kind of was weird, but I like her in general. Queen a4 check, c6, bishop g2, knight e7. So white gave you the pawn back and doesn't really get that much, you know. And I think her queen is misplaced here. It defends the pawn, okay, but this is a really bad place for the white's queen to be. She wanted to make an IM norm, and I was the strongest player in the tournament. And she had black against me, you know. So I was the most likely player to be able to beat her, and she was concerned. So it was like hedging her bets by offering me a draw before the game. But I just don't normally do that. Again, it's one thing if it's like your friend or something. Castle, okay, castle. There's nothing illegal. I mean, I guess maybe it's technically illegal to offer draw. But I'm not sure like chess rules apply when the game isn't in progress. You know what I mean? Like, do FIDE rules apply to pre-game draw first? An hour before the game? The day before the game? 2 weeks before the game? You know, is it against the rules to offer someone a draw like 2 weeks before the game? I'm not sure. No, I have no idea. But it just put me in a weird situation psychologically. I'd rather she hadn't said anything. Excuses, excuses. But I mean, that's a good deal if you can get automatic draws from your strongest opponents in a round robin with black. That's a pretty good deal. Obviously. That would be a good round robin system. Just get draws with black against all your strongest opponents. You're all set. You know, I mean, who's going to beat you after that? So castles, rook e8. Bishop e4, rook e8. Here. Yeah, I mean, I see like white plays a very safe sort of positional style. I don't like her queen on a4. And now d3. Alright. Let's stop here. Let's say white didn't get the most out of this position, and now start to think about it. Yeah, I mean, the problem was it was a round-robin tournament where I'm getting paid to play, and there's no prizes. So I'm only basically playing for my ELO rating and for the glory of winning, you know, a tournament or whatever. Those type of players in those kind of round robins aren't normally that motivated. If it was a money tournament, there would be no question. You know, I would be playing for a win. But I'm just having a holiday, you know, hanging out. So, I don't know, WJ Loof. I think your pawn on d4 is interesting. It's actually pretty strong. I think you should probably reset here. But the problem is you have to make sure everything's protected. The a7 pawn. I mean, ideally, I wish you could play c5 and secure that pawn on d4, but then the other bishop gets drawn. It looks like something along the lines of queen d7. I understand why you played d3 though. This was really aggressive. But I mean, she plays the other rook and she runs into this. You're probably good. So I guess it's either take or play rook fd1. And now you're pinned. You're going to need a tactical way out here. Maybe you have something on this diagonal. Maybe knight f5. Those bishops are just like shredders. I mean, this is very nasty. Even here, she might have like bishop e4, double attack. Yeah, maybe you have something there. You could wheedle your way in there with your knights. I think you're onto something here. But it's like a tightrope act for black's pieces at this point. It looks like maybe knight f5. The idea would be, what? If white takes here, you could A, play like a long-term pawn sack, just start sitting your pieces in the center of the board. Maybe you play this knight d4 hitting here. You know, you start to get good outposts for your pieces. Sometimes the two knights can coordinate really well. It might be worth sacking that pawn. So what'd you do? You did it. You did it. Yeah, knight f5 is interesting. And if you get rid of her bishop pair, you're golden. You're okay. And that's what happened. She had to give up the bishop pair. Now b2's hanging. Takes here is no big deal. I love your queen on d4. I love the fact that you have queen and knight combination. You're even protecting a7. So it looks like white has to be very careful. What about e3? That leaves you with a very powerful passed pawn. So that's quite double-edged for white if she tries to do that. I mean, frankly, if we go back, you know, I think she had the safer continuation, like taking on d3 right away. If this had happened, I wonder what you would have done. Like this, this. Could you do this, this, and this? You lose a piece there. That was another story, though. I was curious, what was her best move? Did she play the best move here? Or should she take on d3? See, the computer isn't sure. It looks like it's coming very close to taking on d3. This is interesting. It was definitely a good game for sure. Knight f5 was a nice move. It was in a difficult position. Now your knights are really, really looking good. You got knight d4, you're out of the woods. Take, take, takes. And now I don't even think you have to take on d3. Maybe you consider not even taking. I think you have compensation for a sacrificed pawn. So you could go in a different direction with like knight g4. I'm not sure if it's enough though. She comes back, just guards the position. Even here though, I mean, it feels like you have tremendous compensation. Even if you just like drop a pawn, black's probably doing okay. I guess you should take, but you have to be careful now in this eternal pin or whatever. But you had knight b2? Wow. You could have just played knight b2. And rook d4, knight a4. Maybe you even throw in a check. I'm not sure. Check here, knight a4 with this problematic c5. This is an issue. That's unfortunate that that line doesn't quite pan out. You would have to play b5 at the end of the day. And I don't know, I don't like this anymore all that much. So, first question, should you have taken the pawn on d3? Second question here, was this best? It looks like a drawn endgame. I mean, you're just going to take on g2 and it's equal. which is a good result against a title player. Take the draw. Take the draw. That's what I would say. The bishop is probably stronger than the knight now. You can roll the dice if you want to and go like knight d3 or something. But I think the safe procedure here is just take her bishop and it's a draw. That's what you did. Gotta always guard the back rank, WJ Loof. The first thing you do in every endgame is make sure you don't get back ranked. The #1 rule in chess is don't get back rank mated. You know, you've gotta get rid of that back rank mate threat here. You played b5, but I still think, you know, the first procedure is just like getting rid of back rank mate. h6. If you want to be really aggressive, you might throw out h5. You can play g6. You always get rid of the back rank mate. You never know what you might run into, some sort of queen a7, some kind of weird tactic. This was aggressive play by WJ Loof. But it's funny, like, it just weakens your pawns, probably. I'm not sure it's even good. So in other words, if she goes queen c2, you know, what are you going to do? Like, take here, rook e4, and you're worse. Now with the bad structure. I would have to say you're even a little overconfident. I would just play like h6 and literally offer her a draw. Or maybe g6 and offer her a draw. Not you as a lower rated player, I'm saying it's correct to offer a draw, but she likes draws. So do I. Who doesn't like draws? With black. A little needling goes a long way. I like to be having fun with that. But no, and b5 is a mistake. You're weakening yourself. See, this is exactly what happened. Your safest bet now is queen c4. Queen c4, queen c4, bc4, rook c2. And guess what? Our old friend, the back rank mate, is now a problem. Rook b8, rook c4, rook b2, rook c6, and our friend, the back rank mate. We have to get rid of back rank mate, g6, and then like rook a6. And now you have to like defend this torturous endgame. It's a draw, but I mean, hypothetically, it would go something like this, and it's a draw. I don't like being on the defending end of that rook. My rook having to passively defend my pawn. But it's a draw. It's a draw. So, you lost probably some technical ending here, I guess. See, now she gets to keep the queens on the board. The rooking game was much simpler. This forces her to trade queens to go into a rooking game. And I think that whole variation is more or less forced. And there's very little winning chances for her. If rook c2, if rook e4, you could even play c3 maybe. So this is keeping the queens on more dangerous. Yeah. So you're structurally a tiny bit worse. She's a specialist in king and pawn endgames. Here we go again. More weaknesses. f5. Definitely not. Definitely not. f5 weakens you too much. She can end up with a rook on the 7th. You don't want to have your king cut off. So it's a tough endgame now. This is not fun. You're going to have to play really, really well not to lose with this bad structure. I'm trying to think of what the best procedure is. It's very tricky at this point. I'm wondering about a5. Again, you've got the back rank problem. You know, g6, queen d5, pawn d5, rook here. Rook b8, b3, rook b5, with the idea of bringing the king up. I think here you're just about hanging on. It looks like. You should be able to hold a draw. If you can get your king to the center to hold that Isolani on d5. But this is f5 is worse. She goes for the material. I think she's probably right, because on rook here, You know, she's probably better, but I don't know. Can this pawn do anything? This is probably best. And now rook d5. She's showing good technique. I still think this might be a draw, but very tough. f5 did not do you any good. No. You have to go to e6 now. You have to play e6. And you might have been better off giving her the d-pawn as well. Frankly, I'm not sure of her decision to take on f5. You blundered now, but I mean king e6. I'm not 100% sure you're lost. I mean, this d-pawn is still fairly strong. If we look at the computer, I'm thinking rook f5 is probably a mistake. Yep. She's taking the wrong pawn here. I mean, she's letting you get there e6 and get closer to your d-pawn. This is huge counterplay for black. This is actually a serious mistake. Rook takes f5, but you're just blundered. After king e6, you're in the game. I mean, your pawn stays alive. These pawns stay alive. Hopefully you don't lose a5. And the d4 pawn gives you counterplay. Your active king also. Great active king here. I'm not sure you're lost, you know. I think you have reasonable defensive chances here. I wouldn't be surprised if with the computer versus computer this is still a draw. Active king, pass pawn. It's a rook endgame. You've got to be active in the endgame. King e7 was your final mistake. Maybe not your final mistake, but it's lost now. I think you're lost now. Can you play rook b8? It looks ugly. Rook b8, b3, rook b4. Last chance. She's going to be able to walk over and get that pawn, I think, eventually. This looks very difficult with the rook on a very bad square on b4. Anyway, guys, long analysis. I gotta finish this game and move on. WJ Liv, thanks for the donation. You're getting closer. No, I mean, I think even Magnus would have a hard time. I think even Magnus Nils would have a very hard time winning this position against the top endgame player like Aronian or someone like that. After king e6, I would think Aronian would make a draw, for example, against Magnus. You know, somebody who's really excellent in endgames, more often than not here. Most likely it's lost without the d-pawn, Coach Ah. It's pretty bad. 2 pawns down is another thing. Against a mortal, maybe Magnus would win most of the time, but not one of the better endgame guys. All right, what do you got? WJ Loof out. Jim is up next. What's up, man? Birthdays on Saturday, guys. Just keep in mind. Got birthday and Christmas coming up, so extra presents for your favorite chess streamer. Appreciate it, WJ Loof, the 500 donation. We're doing game analysis today. I became 39 again. I mean, I didn't became. I'm becoming. I get to be 39 again. Isn't that awesome? The last time I told someone that I was 39, they gave me a funny look. That's a bad sign. Thought it sounds old enough. Damn. Alright. Your boss gave you a 2K Christmas present. Wow. Nice boss. Jerry Hattrick said most people he knows are 39. The older set. Alright, Jim is up. Funny game for Thursday. It's going to go to the Greek economy. Alright, fun game for Thursday. 5-0 game where I sacrificed the whole house for an attack. Unfortunately, that cost me the game. I spent too much time. This is Jim's submission. Classical chess, Jim versus some guy. Literally, some guy. Don't tell me it's another Smith Gambit. E4, E5, Bishop C4. He's Morales in a Greek body. You guys have the same repertoire. No. Jim plays the Smith more. Morales plays the Grand Prix attack with Bishop E5. But they both play Bishop C4. Also someone on sound. So we have a whole team of people who play this Gambit style Bishop C4, whatever it is. No way, the guy played Bishop C5? Dude, isn't that... Wait a minute. Why does nobody play Bishop C5 in this position normally? Yeah, I'm confused. There's not something wrong with Bishop C5? Queen G4, that's what it was. Yeah, so I must have played it once in Blitz and then ran into Queen G4 myself. What's the consensus on this? What is this? My first instinct is to do the Nakamura attack. So the point would be Queen E7, if Knight C3, you just play C6. And that's not a problem. Among other things. This has actually been played. So Bishop C5 is really, really rare. There's some games, though. Now, it's funny that Morales mentions Queen G4, but it's got no games here. Only one. That's weird. That's crazy. There's only one game. Unbelievable. Even crazier is the book, I mean the computer variation. Knight C6, Queen G7, Queen F6. Giving up a pawn? Are you serious? What? If D3, Knight D4? Wow. Dude, that's nutty. Black has like lasting compensation, Bishop B3. This looks really familiar to something I've seen. But I mean, is it really enough? I would think some really super materialistic player would like this for white. Interesting. Anyway, like that's just off the top of my head. And Morales' idea, Queen G4. So apparently, like most people just play normal moves here, Knight F3 or Knight C3. There's no clear refutation or anything like that. You could play F4. Damn. So apparently, this leads to Bishop takes G1. Miroshnichenko has played it twice. But nobody had the guts to play Bishop takes G1. Gary Lane's old book? Right, okay. Gary Lane on the bishop opening. The bishop's opening. Queen H5. Old openings like this, man, I mean, there must be a lot of lines that have to be reanalyzed with a strong engine. Books like that from the early 90s or mid 90s or something are probably filled with like inaccurate analysis. Queen E7. Rook takes G1. Anyway, this is interesting. It's like Steinitz playing F5 on move 2. It's kind of the mirror image of this, of course. Or Bishop G8 is like a really bad move. This was an old Steinitz game that I sometimes am inspired by. Morales was afraid I was going to play f5 against him the other day. Yeah, not just early 90s. Okay, I said mid 90s, but yeah. Anything like pre-2000. Anything pre-2005 or something. Alright, so let's see. Bishop c4, bishop c5, knight f3, knight c6, castle, d6. Man, where's Summon on Sound? He was in the stream. I guess he had to do something. All of his openings are in play today. So c3. This looks strangely familiar. This isn't great, though. Knight f6, d4. Okay, this is a line. Knight f6, d4, bishop b6 is okay. Obviously, you can play the slow Joko with d3. But black needs to play knight f6, I guess. I don't trust any crap like this. This looks something like Mamedyarov would play. That's definitely a move, though. Nigel Short style. This move has a very, very strong score. You know, I was actually prepping this a little bit for Gombos Ferenc in the summer in an IM tournament, who plays this type of stuff with black. I think I looked at this and I was unconvinced. This actually might be pretty good. Queen f6, apparently b4, Asterbait style. b4, bishop b6, a4, a5, b5, knight d8, d4. My friend Emil lost a game with white here. It's weird. He never plays a Joko. That's strange. This does look better for white, though. That's got to be your best way to play. Bishop c5, c3, knight f6, b4. Anyway, queen f6 catches people out, probably. Let me turn off the engine. So there's a game here, Rob Brenovich. That sounds familiar. I think there's these Serbian guys. That's very familiar to me. I don't know. I'm getting them confused with someone else, probably. Brenovich, very familiar to me. Yeah, I don't like this for black. I mean, this looks weak. This is weak. You're better here. This isn't good. Bishop e6 is just no good. So he just played this. That's better than black. I think this is better than black giving up the center, though. This is clearly a mistake. There's a game where someone did that. I mean, I would much rather have the Isolani pawn there. You know, he's hoping that you'll go for something like this. And this is maybe not that bad. That pawn in e5 remains, controlling the center. He's better off having those two Isolanis than giving up his center. Definitely. Right, Antonio, that's the line. c3, knight f6, d4. E takes d, b4. Interesting. Now, I like the way he played this with bishop e6. And this is just like... What are you doing? You're playing for cheapos with a4? I admit, like, I don't really like taking here. I think, like, the professional move for white is probably bishop e3, followed by knight e2. I mean, knight e2. Dragon 70 rating with a party of 14. Tonat Min, otherwise known as Tomi, international master. I missed Schieberspieler today. What's up, Tomi? So I think this seems like a solid way to play, right? Knight f6, knight bd2, and white is just better. I would want to just keep my center, keep my options open. Dragon B. That's funny, there was this guy, now I remember. You guys, what happened to Dragon B? We had a subscriber named Dragon B. We miss him. He was a good guy. So it looks like whoever played white in this other game just took tactical advantage. That's also possible. Obviously this bishop is pretty good. But these pawns aren't that bad. I mean, I think he keeps the center controlled. You had a giveaway lesson today. Nice. Thank you for the raid. Giveaway lessons from Tonat Min. Follow his stream, Dragon B. Teaching chess variants. He's a good player. You guys can check him out. Fellow Budapestian. So, yeah, I don't know. I like keeping the center here. You got coached. You got coached on how to play giveaway. I understand. I thought you had a lesson giveaway. I'm such an idiot. You were learning how to play giveaway chess. Of course, I suck at all variants except for Chess 960. I want to learn how to play Crazy House. That's the only one I think I could sort of identify with. No, okay, I understand. That's cool. So let's see, what are we doing here? Jim, what is A4? That's a weird move. Are you threatening some kind of cheapo? It's a trap? I mean, I guess it's not that bad. Why is black giving up his center? I don't think I like that. Giving up the center. Although A4 doesn't really contribute that much to our position. It looks like Jim's playing for cheapos, right? You're playing for the A5. The A5 rook takes A5. That doesn't work. You can play like A5, knight takes A5, D5 and trap his knight or something. Is that the idea? Astrobate doesn't need to be coached at that. Oh, I misunderstood. I thought you guys were joking. Some of us are naturally good at giveaway chess. Sorry, Astrobate. Just kidding, man. We know how to play giveaway chess naturally. Tonat Min, for him it's too hard to give away his pieces. A4 is cool. It's a cheapo. Queen D7. This guy is playing kind of passively, but he's guarding against those tactical threats. Wow. Yeah, I mean, naturally, like, black doesn't want to open up the E file, so he doesn't take on D5. Dude, don't you have, like, knight G5 game over here? I mean, seriously? I mean, maybe because I'm a D4 player, for me this is more natural. I'm not even concerned with tactics or trying to play Queen H5. It's just like knight on E6, game over. It was Tartakover. Okay, you have other moves. Obviously A5. We'll play that first. My idea is to get a knight on E6. But I don't see the tactic here. Oh, you have a double attack with G7? The tactical wizard. Check this out. Bang. Double attack. G7, loose rook. The only problem here is if you take on G7, he'll have knight G6 holding his rook on H8, right? Oh, I thought you were going for D4. Faked me out. So it wasn't about that. He's got that defense. That seems to hold. Wow. That's the end of the line. That really sucks. So that wasn't your idea? I totally misunderstood. Play queen b3. Yeah, you're making kind of random moves. I thought you were going to take on b7 now. Or you could revert back to the knight g5 and knight e6 idea. You got to do it now. What was the time control? Was this 1 minute chess or something? Can you guys tell me the time control? Tell me this was 1 minute chess. I think the problem is like you had too many different possibilities and you like couldn't make up your mind like what to do. There was b7, g7, knight g. You didn't do the knight g5 idea. What's up, HCFP? So material-wise, we're down a bishop, which is not good. But you have a lot of pawns, especially if you grab the one on b7. Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised by your next move. I'm literally like not able to predict a single move that Jim made. I thought you would play knight c4 for the tempo, and then like take on b7. What does he do after that? Does he have a move here? Queen d7? You're threatening this. Like seriously. If queen f6 then e5. Like how does he defend? Because I don't get it. It looks like queen d7 is forced, right? No. He has the defense I didn't see. Queen a6. Completely missed this. Defending b7 and keeping b5. So this is not good enough. Another option obviously would have been to take on b7 and then play knight c4. What does he do there? You know, rook d8 and then knight c4? I'm curious what your best move is. Jim played the best move, knight d3. Like, quiet move that doesn't threaten anything. Damn, dude. There's no way I would have played that. I'm freaking out, I'm down a piece, and maybe I have enough compensation. And the answer is knight d3. Yeah, I like the other options too, Coach Ah. I think knight g5 was there. This is amazing though. This is the best move. Threatening queen b5. And he can't play queen a6 or queen d7 because the bishop will hang. So now what does he do? Like bishop d4, dropping a piece to queen a4 check. I think he needs to castle queenside. Seriously. Is he still allowed to castle? I mean, obviously this is not safe, but we're in kind of a desperate situation. I don't trust it, but I also don't see a forced win. Queen c3 is pretty close, though. I guess any move that attacks his bishop. Maybe queen c4 is better. This is really like nothing. Queen g7 is nothing. We need to go after this and win this piece. After b6, I think he's toast. His king's too open on the white squares. He's going to get mated. Probably no way to survive after that, objectively. So castling queenside's out. You're threatening queen a4 check. He did this preemptively? Okay. That makes sense. Jim, you did this like slow motion attack. It was kind of evil. The poor guy, he's like got enough material. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You only have 2 pawns for a piece. Can he play anything? My god. This is pretty sick. Nice submission. Yeah, I mean, like, maybe a computer could defend for black here. I don't even know where to start. I mean, like knight f6 drops a piece, knight h6. I guess he has to play knight h6 now. That's what he did. I don't have a better suggestion. It looks like the only move. Knight h6, e5. I would assume here. But he was concerned about b5 with good reason. Now, obviously, the e6 can get worse. Yeah, I think your opponent is lost. He's probably lost here. But we don't want to, like, blunder a queen trade or something. He's getting away? Can he sack the knight for escape? The dude should castle. Castle, e7 check, king h8, possibly even knight f7. Takes, queen takes. And beg for forgiveness. He's not done any pawns, but this is pretty bad. I would be probably desperate enough to castle there. The computer doesn't like it. So the pewter finds some other more accurate defense. I'm not as strong psychologically to take the pressure like the pewter. Rook d8. Nice. This is pewter. Pewter-like move. Dude's got a castle, come on. Oh my god, no. What? You're playing for the Brilliancy Prize? Right. Now he's all generous, giving pieces back and stuff. But I don't think it's enough, you know, taking on e7. Wow. He can't go anywhere except for c6, I guess. Now you took the knight. That's such a disappointment. So disappointing to take the knight on e7. But like d7 check, king f8. Are we... Do we lose faith in our attack here? We lost faith. I'm not convinced yet, but yeah, that sucks. If you take on d3, he's got the e6 capture. Maybe too much, Jim. It's a little too much. You're winning here. You can't blame him for taking that pawn. Don't tell me he had like a queen sack or something crazy. He has to play rook d4 according to the engine. That's like impossible, man. You have queen b8 check, takes on h8. This requires crazy calculation. Here, check, king e7, queen h8. It's unbelievable if you're alive here. Whoa. I mean, if black's alive after this is ridiculous. Rook takes e4, queen g7 check. Holy crap! King e6 and black is hanging on according to the engine. Just barely. 1.8, 1.4. But I mean, nobody could play that. I would never go into that. I'd rather just take. Check. Yeah, this looks like, okay, what are you going to do? No big deal. It seems okay for black. That's what I would have done. I totally would have played exactly the same as him. So Jim has some freak win now. But I guess it's principally the same thing. e7. I mean, it's the same threat of queen b8 and collecting this rook here. So you have to play either rook c8 or rook a8, realistically. So rook c8, what's the big deal? This is Computer City. Wow. Epaulettes. They're the classic epaulette rooks. Epileptic is more like it. He's basically 2 rooks down. That's crazy. If he has to go into this, queen d4, and look, ma, no rooks. So that's the basis of e7. He would have to go into that whole queen b8 junk anyway, after rook d5, according to the computer. Here. Something very similar. Oh, apparently you have first 92 check, even more brutal. Blockading the passed pawn, and then taking on h8. But I mean, nobody can blame you for missing that. That's super difficult. Jim just blockaded right away. But here it's not clear if you have enough compensation. Now he drops the check anyway, but goes back. Draw? Draw? This guy won't take no for an answer. He's playing king e7. He's like, no, I don't want to draw. I want to lose. I said I want to lose. Bzz. Man, he has a chance to repeat position. You could have played queen b2 directly, but then he can't castle. Should you play queen b2 directly? Problem is like rook g8. Welcome guys to my subscriber stream, Game Analysis. Thanks for the raid from Tommy. Alright. So Jim, we're gonna go through this quickly. Queen b3, king e7, queen b2, rook g8, queen b4 check, king e8, and then e7. How good is this now? Oh my god, it's going to be like queen takes g8 check, king g8, e8, queen. You know it. Well, everything's okay. No, it's not. It's kind of funny. Yeah, that was cute finish, man. Alright. Cute finish. Perfectly played game by both sides. We've got to move on. Princess Chess. I didn't see Princess Chess tonight yet on the stream. Hollywood, Florida. Alright. Princess Chess versus Chessing 6-4. Thanks for doing these. Save this one for last. I'm not going to save it for last. Damn it. I'm doing it when I do it. Alright. Save this one for last. My opponent didn't give me a very hard time. No problem. We're just going to do it. Just do it. It's been a long day. Guys, we're going to be back with pre-birthday stream tomorrow. Turning 39 again. Hint, hint. Princess Chess. Playing black. She's tougher with white. Alright. So, this line of symmetrical English, you must play e5. This is a very good gambit. I recommend this to everyone, and like almost none of my students ever, they're like, oh, I don't want to do that. I don't feel comfortable with this. This is just an excellent gambit line for black. If you don't feel comfortable with the initiative, maybe you should play another game. The one time I played with white, I just wanted to kill myself, and I lost to a low-rated opponent. I don't know, man. I like this line for black. But nobody seems to know to play it. I don't remember the last time anybody I know like played this line. Knight c6. Oh, there's nothing wrong with knight c6. But take the initiative, sack a pawn. Here, d5. And I would argue this is a Nimzovichian pawn sacrifice. The basic idea is that we're going to push e4 at some point, kind of messing up white's coordination. And I think that the origin of this I'm not really clear on. But I would say it's originally related to Nimzovich, because he played e4, e6, d4, d5, e5, c5, and gambits like this, knight f3, pawn takes pawn, where we're playing with that strong point pawn on e5. I think it's kind of related. Anyways, this is a standard line, knight c6, knight c what? Knight c what? Alright. White just moved their knight a second time back to c2 without provocation. What do we do? Let's stop right here, and I'm going to ask you guys a question. Who is better in this position right now? Probably white, because of the c4 pawn. And white has superior control of d5. If white had like one more move, white would have a serious advantage. So, if we can play d5, we just equalized. Exactly HTFP. Oh, I thought it was HTFP. He had the same color. That's I'm notism. Though you only had a 50% chance of being right. I don't know. You didn't say which center pawn, so I'm not going to give you full credit for that answer. You get half credit for saying push the center pawn. You could have been right 50% of the time. I mean, d5, dude, just equalizes. The only reason I would be hesitant here for black would be like, okay, it's possible like this endgame might be quite drawish. The queen takes, knight takes. But actually black stands a little better. I'm almost like a move up here. I've got two pieces developed and you're white. What happened? e4 also bad, I guess because of knight b4. Knight b4, knight b4. Bishop b5 check, bishop d7. Takes, king takes, and there's a problem with the c2 square. And also the threat of knight d3. So I think that white is slightly worse. So by principles, mathematical principles of geometry, I mean black should play d5. It's the best move. Princess chess here not playing d5, you're like, no, I don't want to equalize, I want you to be better. So feel free to play knight c3. Sometimes the stronger player has to do this to avoid simplification. Like not playing d5 in accelerated dragon. I will not play the best move sometimes in the black side of the accelerated dragon to avoid exchanges. Magnus Carlsen plays the Stonewall Dutch, even though it sucks, because it avoids exchanges. You've got to be practical, but at the same time, I think this is a clear mistake. This is too early. No, it's clearly a mistake. It just lets black completely out of the bag with d5. White's advantage is this pawn on c4. He's just like letting you equalize for free. And now you're back to worse again. And we transfer back into a Schieber-Spieler variation. And it's very dangerous in Marazzi too. I've had a couple games. Magnus's dad, Kenny Solomon, who both played knight c2 against me in the Marazzi. I was lucky that I beat both of them, but I don't feel comfortable with black in that knight c2 Marazzi. But in order to play knight c2, white has to have the center nailed down. You can't play knight c2 if black's going to be playing d5. So, yeah, b3, this is a standard kind of follow-up sometimes. Otherwise, maybe not. Maybe the knight just like goes on e3 and doubles down on d5. It's bad for black. Now we transpose to a reverse Rubinstein English. I don't like castles as much as I prefer d6. If I can do it, I'm going to play knight d7. And if we can do it, we're going to do the Gingy Indian here and rip this knight on c3, like Mr. Korchnoi. I think this is okay. Some people don't like it stylistically, but it's probably a risk worth taking. Um, I guess you have to. We shouldn't encourage Princess Chess to do this though, because she's already giving away her bishop all the time without proper provocation. But I think that this is okay. It's not forced though. You can play more safely with like knight c5. It's definitely like playable. I mean, the fact is we haven't castled. You know, if we had castled, I wouldn't play bishop takes c3 as easily. We haven't even castled yet. It would be better to get that in earlier though, if we could. What did she do? Okay, this is a weird move. So as you can see, it's a Rubinstein English, colors reversed. Rubinstein used to play it with black. White should castle. And wait and see. After castles, knight d7, bishop d2, preventing the doubling of pawns. You know, why do you think this is the #1 move in this position? Bishop d2. Because people like putting their bishops on a passive square. It stops the doubled pawns. It also leaves the e3 square free for the knight. Bishop d2. There are other moves like queen e1. But I like this. So here, knight e3. This is weird. A little bit weird. Knight e3. Like, what's wrong with this move? What's wrong with knight e3? Well, let's say maybe not so simple to detect. Princess play queen a5, but I don't think it makes sense. And white's just castling out of the pin. That doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to play queen a5 for queen is just going to be stuck out there for no reason after castles. That doesn't leave us with that many options here. We could play some sort of Larsen like b6, bishop b7, maybe. Although black is worse. This is the standard move. But Stefanova played h4. After h4, we're not going to play bishop takes c3 check. I agree. Like, I don't think this is happening now, you know, with the dark squares. This is kind of awkward. So this is interesting. Stefanova basically kind of hoping black plays knight d7 and then unleashing this h4. I've never played her, but she's a tricky player. h5 may be too late for that. I guess knight d7 isn't the answer here. You know, so black needs to... I mean, you could, if you really want to be a freak, play like h5, but... I kind of wish we hadn't castled so early. Another argument against black's move order. Maybe with black, you know, you don't castle so early and play d6. We can wait until white defines what they're going to do. It's always an advantage to have flexibility. Absolutely. Like in anything you play, poker, chess, tiddlywinks, it's better to be flexible. Obviously in Twister, try to get some bad jokes in, but why do we have to castle first anyway, you know? So it looks like this is a trap, like trying to get you to play knight d7, bishop takes c3, and then have no pieces defending while we just rail black on the h file. Flexibility sometimes requires giving up the initiative, though. Interesting. Could have a point. Good Twister joke. But, yeah, another idea is maybe e6. It's kind of weird, though. I don't like it. I guess I would play b6, bishop b7, and keep this e6 in reserve here. That's what I'm going to vote for. Anyway, this doesn't work. It does force white to think about castling, though he could play... I think bishop d2 may be even better refutation than castles, in fact. Because he keeps the Stefanova plan of like blowing black away on the king side in the back pocket. This is probably even stronger refutation of queen a5. Why commit to castling? You don't have anything after this. Queen a5 is a mistake. It's an artificial move. Once in a while you can do this in the accelerated dragon. You know, there's a small chance it might make sense here because we are attacking e4. Let's take a look. Korchnoi did this with some games with white. I've got good control of d4. There's no f4 without sacrificing a pawn. It keeps an eye on b2. And we're threatening knight takes e4. This actually looks pretty interesting. So maybe her queen a5 isn't that stupid in this line. Because white can't just sack that pawn. Fischer did it against Larsen. That's interesting. I don't think I know that game. Sounds like something Larsen would do. Normally the queen isn't safe, but sometimes in Marazzi you can do this. Dude, this is a good move. Wow. f3 is best, protecting the pawn. But nothing can really threaten the queen for a while on e5. National Master Dale, welcome. So white was right. He was correct. Castle. Bishop d2. Avoiding bishop d2, queen e5. But there goes the h4 attack. Now I think this queen is misplaced on a5. Well, now white doesn't have to fear the kingside attack so much, but white has the, you know, the Marazzi bind here. I mean, we need a way to fight back. And the normal plans, I'm not sure anymore with the queen on a5. Do we want to be doing this? I don't think we want to be doing this with my queen on a5. I'm not sure. I don't see how queen a5 works here. You know, I don't see how this is gonna... It's only gonna end in pain and suffering for black. This is one of my only stand-up constant phrases that I say. Like Feingold's f6 is always bad. Queen a5 is always bad. 90% of the time, queen a5 is bad. Here's another example. She played queen e5 anyway. Whoa. Whoa. Queen e5 anyway. Cool idea. Attacking this. The problem is f4 is possible now. You know, this still might be the best move, actually. The only way to justify queen a5, and after f4 we trade queens or attempt to trade queens with queen d4. f4, queen d4. Now the question is, can white do some tricky move here? Probably not. We can't just lose our central pawn. But white might have something tricky. Let's take a look. Can we play queen e1? It just doesn't look like a real threat. Knight b5 alone is not enough to do anything. No, this is a brilliant idea. This was a brilliant idea. Great job. If white has to trade queens, then black's probably okay. Oh my god. You're telling me like you have knight takes e4. White misses this. That's sweet. So white is now sacrificing a pawn. The question is, how good is it? How much compensation does white have? Okay, I don't know. Central files are serious. Bishop f3 is serious. But I don't think the black's in any real danger. Maximum black, you know, white has like reasonable compensation. This is a big problem, being tied down to b2. The law of accidental compensation. It sounds like something that an ambulance chasing lawyer would be familiar with. Are you a lawyer by any chance? In your day job? Alright. I knew one chess player who was an ambulance chaser lawyer, my former landlord. He was a nice guy, actually. I didn't realize till later he was an ambulance chaser. He was actually a really cool landlord. You wouldn't think that. Alright. He was a master too. National Master Dale. Alright, knight d5. Knight d5. Knight d5, knight d4. Knight d4 is awfully tempting, but the knight on d5 is evil. This knight is the Grinch that stole Christmas. We definitely want to get that out of there. Sooner the better. That's not allowed to stay. You know, that's like the party guest that you didn't invite. Great seeing you, but I would like, you know, maybe if you would leave. You got to get it out of there. How's the best way to get it out of there? That is definitely one of Roman's rules. You always get it out. Always get the outpost of peace out. He's not allowed to stay. I'm doing some kind of weird accent. I can't do Roman. I haven't seen him in so long. I don't think I was ever good at Roman anyway. Princess just sort of ignores it, but I want to get it out as soon as possible. See, this bothers me. Knight c7, and we're dropping d6. I don't think that's going to work. So, there's always the possibility of bishop e6. We could eliminate it with a piece, but that's going to be a concession in itself. You know, here, here. There's the possibility of that pawn's hanging, actually. So he can't go there. This is hanging. It's not so simple. I guess he has to do this, this. Nice when you accidentally grab your board. No, those weren't the mushrooms you've been taking. I just resized my board. I disabled that, you know, feature that would like block it from happening, but I never grab it by accident. Rook d8. You know, so this is like, okay, clear pawn up. I guess bishop e6 might be an option, if nothing else. I don't want it to stay there. But maybe white should just let you take on d5 and take back with the pawn. And have some sort of compensation that way. Along the e-file. Okay, let's see what happened. Yummy. Bishop takes b2, rook b1, and rook b7. I guess that's not so great. Okay, so princess just goes with e6. Now there's no attack on the d6 guy. Oh. You've got to be kidding me, right? Oh. Hurts. Man, it hurts. I can't believe it. Is this a joke? Are you trolling me? You can't give them your dark sword bishop here. Look at this. Suicide. I was talking about it earlier when it like forced double isolated pawns and your pawn was on e7. You can't do this. This is crazy. But the thing is, Princess Chess has already done this in some other games. I think she's just trying to troll me. You gotta be kidding me. I mean, you don't play that move. I don't know. I would sooner play like queen f5, g4, queen a5, knight e4, queen c7 or something, and anything but that. Like, you can't go there, but obviously queen d4. I don't see any problem here. Queen d4, knight b5, queen c5. It looks like we're fine. I don't see anything for white. This is horrible. Bishop takes c3. Yeah, like if you're winning, even if you're winning a pawn, move 11, I would be reluctant to play bishop takes c3. So you could then play queen takes e4. Maybe if it was like the only thing you could do, but you definitely don't give this up unprovoked. Now white's probably better. The backward pawn here, the bishop pair, weakness in the black king side. I'm taking white here, like if you give me a choice, no doubt. Even Alexander Ivanov, who loves to snuggle pawns, I think he puts pawns under his pillow at night. I mean, one of the players I've played the most in life, he has like pawns under his pillow and like hugs the. It's ridiculous, dude. You can't do this. You can't do this. This is horrible. Alright. Yuck. So black's going to hold on to this pawn, maybe. Even Ivanov wouldn't do that, man. He loves to play bishop takes c3 and grab a pawn, but not in this case. But now c4 is just dropping. That's clearly a blunder. And then what? Well, you can take this. You gotta take this. This pawn is key. Are we gonna... We're not gonna get any more material. Bishop e8. And then queen a3, I guess. Not a great square. The queen c7 isn't better. Does white have queen c7? Yes. Hitting b7. So I'm with white here. You know, I like the bishop pair. But this move is like, wait, I don't understand. White also had bishop f6, right? Oh man. That's extremely strong. I think we're pretty well toast after bishop f6. This doesn't look great. Rook c8, queen d6, queen d6, bishop e8. The white's just clearly better. So he played this, grabbed another pawn, yum yum. Bishop takes c6. What? So white putting all of their eggs in one basket on this very, very telegraphic move, queen d4. But it's a huge thing to give up that white square bishop for the knight on c6. You got to be 100% sure that you're winning to make this move. And the problem is e5, pawn takes pawn. Maybe white even calculated like e5, pawn takes pawn, queen e5, and they were winning. But it looks like black has queen d5 in between move. And I don't think white's winning after that. See, he missed this. He thought it's game over. But it's not game over because black has this. And Princess is really good at calculation. She's extremely good at tactics. Defensively, this is just very sloppy play by white, you know, who had a great position and cashed it all in for nothing. Bishop takes c6, bishop takes c6. Whoops. Thought I was winning, and now this saves the game. And it's maybe worse than that, because white's down 2 pawns. White's like lost, maybe. 2 pawns down and an ending. Good thing it's not Bug House. I missed this move, but it probably doesn't matter. 1 pawn down, ops-colored bishops, I really have no problem. Ops-colored bishops and queens. But this is 2 down. And you're solid protecting f7. I think it's lost for white. Yeah. Maybe if there's a way, I'm not sure. Maybe black should be more careful here. I don't know if you can be more careful. Maybe rook e7. Wait a second. Did white miss something? Maybe white missed something. Does he have rook takes e5? It doesn't work. Does it? Doesn't work. It's the end of the line. There's nothing there. It doesn't have rook e5. This looks like maybe here. We can still play rook e1. If we can pry... It's very inconsistent. I mean, rook e1, we still have a chance. What black needs to do is play like f6. She has it too. Oh man, f6 is brutal. f6 is game over, I think. I'm not sure I like f5 because f5 weakens the dark squares. We're probably slowly going to win here if we can defend our f6. After f5, it looks like white could have continued to harass white with this move. And obviously if you play e4, it's a whole different story now. Black's going to have to be very, very careful. It looks like f5 is actually a mistake. The computer says it's winning, though. Computer never lies. I still think it's dangerous from a practical standpoint. I wouldn't risk it if I can play f6. See, number one move. The engine even admits f6 is better than f5, but it's a subtle point. You know, you want to do this because queen f6, rook f8, and that wins. But basically the principle is you want to shut down the enemy bishop on their color complex. You want to set up your pawns on dark squares, and it's totally game over. It's like, I have my fun, but you don't have any. You know, my diagonal's open, but your diagonal's shut down by f6 and e5 pawns. There's no chance, you know, that bishop on c3 is going to do any damage to black now after f6. So this was lucky that white didn't have anything after f5. Queen g2 check. Yeah. Funny. That's true. You have mate in one. Alright, point taken. Now white already got a little bit of counterplay on the dark squares here. Not enough. Oof. White square is coming up. Okay, so this is over. Anyway, Schieberspieler, what's up? We saw Dragon... Yeah, Dragon B7, he was here. He's still here. f6, queen f6. I didn't see the mate in one. I'm always thinking about, you know, deeper tactics. Like 2 moves. The longer winded combinations, I wouldn't... Mate in one is just, you know, too basic. Who needs to point out mate in ones? I want to look at the more complex ideas. I forgot about queen d2 mate. What's up, Schieberspieler? How'd your stream go today? Dragon B70 was also streaming. Thanks for joining me, guys. My Hungarian streamer friends. So, game analysis. I just finished this one. Astrobate, everybody's favorite VIP. Everybody's favorite VIP is up next. Alright. Acerbate. Acerbate, where are you? How about a Pierce? 20 CPL. Oh, this is his upset win from the streamer battle. Astrobate, what's your biggest upset? Blitz victory. By the way. Dragon B70 is crazy. He's got endurance. Dude, do you see how many tournament games he plays? He's like Mr. Endurance. He plays like 200, 300 tournament games a year. But Schieberspieler, you weren't alive when the older time controls were in effect. I mean, I played 8-hour tournament games, dude. When was the last time you played an 8-hour tournament game? With adjournments, and we had to walk uphill both ways. And I would play 2 games in one day. I had 2 games in one day that lasted like 14 hours. Nowadays, it's like easy for lightweight players. National Master Dale probably remembers that. These lightweight titled 20-year-old players don't know what it's like to play like 14 hours. 14 hours of chess in one day. Now it's easy. Queen's Gambit and all that. Just watch the Queen's Gambit and play for 3 hours. Have a snow day. Lightweights. Astrobate is white. E4, D6, knight F3. I'm trying to tell him to play D4, but he keeps like reflexively playing knight F3 always. Against whatever. He always does knight F3 instead of creating the pawn duo in the center. I told you guys, other people on the stream, Ilinchich plays this in Bullet, like as a trap. It's ridiculous. The guy was almost 2,600. He's telling me how he plays E5 against the Pirts in Bullet. Astrobate, you might as well play that. Why not just E5 directly? There might be a chance Black will play knight F6 and like hang a knight. And then a formerly like respectable grandmaster explaining to me how after this, White has some compensation. So it's not so bad. That's what Bullet chess does to you. Legitimate players start playing like garbage like this. And then trying to justify it by saying that White has compensation for the pawn. Yeah, it's a Pirt's crusher. It's okay if you lose that pawn. Anyway, Astrobate does it on move 3. You know what this is, Astrobate? This is called undermining your own center. Basically, the entire principle of, the hyper-modern opening, which the Pirts is an excellent example of hyper-modern openings. The idea is that you slowly allow White to establish a center, and then you try to undermine it. But Astrobate is actually undermining his own center by playing E5. Like, I'm going to take care of it for you. Now I don't have a center anymore. Not good. So, you can play either a King's Indian attack or, obviously, Knight C3. Sigh. Okay, it's a 3-0 game and he panicked. Contagious brain damage. That's under law. Apparently. I'm spreading the brain damage by telling these Bullet players to play E5 on move 2 against the Pirts. Okay, Astrobate's playing 3-0. He doesn't play this fast, normally. This is a fast game, so he's just sort of panicking, playing whatever he thinks of. Black should play like knight D7. I've seen this somewhere before, and it might have been another one of his games. I don't know, but obviously knight on BD7, Raf Mamadov actually got this position against somebody, and he's like, hey, you know what? Trade off that knight you moved twice for this one that I just moved once. Now you have no center, and I have 2 pieces developed. I mean, the guy at least played a good move now, D4. I mean, wouldn't Black have C5 here, theoretically? I guess White could play D5. This is ridiculous, though. White has no advantage. Okay, here. I love how Stockfish says E6 is dubious. It's not that bad. I prefer, like, knight D7 or G6. Obviously, you can get the bishop outside the pawn chain if you're a Slav kind of player, but, maybe now White can do some crazy stuff with, like, G4. How bad would G4 be? Tonat might like this. He likes crazy openings. Creative. Plays everything. Probably you want to be aggressive, though, if you can. I'm not sure about Queen D5, though. That's making me a little nervous. Might be a problem. Do we have a problem with Queen D5? Why am I analyzing this position? Giving him bad habits. Apparently National Master Dale is really into Buckhouse. You're not that crazy to play G4. Okay. Yeah, knight F7. Ugh. Crazy House, maybe. I'll let you know when I want to take Crazy House lessons. So E6, D4, now C5. Principle of the center. Black understands about the center. By the way, Astrabate's opponent's pretty strong. He's around 2,000. Alright, so he undermines the center. Good job. Astrabate loses a tempo. Destroyed the center. Correct. Although Black here might be better off playing... he can consider playing knight c6. White could also play bishop e5. It's not that simple. I think the Black is definitely better, though. Yeah, knight c6... I don't like knight f3 Astrabate. You can't back off its move 5 or 6. But Pepe is a great Crazy House player. I figured. I mean, I've seen him playing sometimes, but I don't follow the games that closely in Crazy House. It's hard for me to judge. It's hard for me to judge. Crazy House is a game I don't really play, so it's hard for me to tell who's really good. Other than ratings, of course. Seems like a French Rubinstein. Actually, yes, it does. And 95 early is close to an idea in the French Rubinstein. I've seen Ivanov play aggressive setups there. It's possible, I don't know, it's possible we have a reasonable position. I guess like c3. Copas Robert. Copas Robert. I've played before. I guess c3 is not that bad. This is not good. Astrabate trading queens. He has nothing. It's totally equal. Astrabate's slightly worse. I'm a little concerned about knight g4 here. I would have preferred like bishop e2, but the knight's going to get you either way, right? It's either here or here. Either way, you can't defend against both. So actually, Astrabate, you probably should try to find a crafty way out of this. I'm not really sure what to suggest for white. I guess it's not the end of the world. You're going to have to give up your bishop. But he misses it. I mean, Black needs to play for that bishop. He's slightly better after that. This is serious, though. I mean, knight g4. I guess I would just play like c3 and pray that I'm not going to lose after this. But I hate white's position. It's pretty awful with this bad pawn here for white. But maybe white can defend. It's just like very unpleasant. I don't know, man. It looks like here, first of all, you could, I guess, play a different move, like knight b5 or knight b3 or something. You essentially pinned yourself. Black should have attacked it right away, but he castled. Then bishop d3, he could have attacked it again. He didn't. He played this. Castles. He still has it with these moves. Misses it. Plays passively. And then you play knight b5 with a one-move threat that doesn't really do anything. And the position is like equal now, approximately. You go in there, but you've got nowhere to go. So this was bad. So let's see. Approximately equal. Maybe Black's tiny bit better now. Knight a7. Only Ivanchuk would play that. Knight a7 is kind of weird. So Black has a C file. Knight d5 with the threat of this and this. Looks interesting. I look over and the only note the computer has made is like, inaccuracy, knight d5 is best. I swear I don't read this stuff. This is just like an automatic move. Taking away. So I think we'll see Astrabate play better now. The situation has clarified a bit. This is very unpleasant. You pinned yourself like a Verisov down to c2, but you can move your knight, so you're fine. Just unpin. Maybe knight e4? I guess you're not forced to do it. He forced you. Not a move I'm crazy about. You know, my rule is, like, you don't attack pieces that are on bad squares. I mean, when a piece is on a bad square, you encourage the opponent to leave it there. You don't, like, encourage him to move it away. So I think this move doesn't make sense, you know. He's encouraging you to correct a bad positioned piece or poorly positioned piece. No, you can't play a3. But I mean, black should make a constructive move that makes sense in every position, i.e. like b5. Minority attack, probably, looks reasonable. a3, bishop takes a3. This move is stupid. Knight e4. But obviously black's pattern is to play logical moves quickly, but not really think about the position too deep, which is okay for 3-0. And he just walked into a trap. He did it to himself. Look at those pieces. Look at this coordination. And it's not Astrobate's only winning move, right? He can also play... No, he can also play this. No, this move allows rook c4. Funny defense. But this is much cleaner, b4. Yeah, totally winning material. Dropping a piece. Game over. And an exchange. And you're up a rook. I always tell people to be careful with a back rank mate. But he's like ignoring it. First thing I would do... My first thing I would have done would have been to play rook d1 to trade the rooks off, and definitely not leaving up even the possibility of rook c1. I know you've got it controlled though. But I had this discussion earlier. This is like, it makes me nervous to not play like g3. It's so deeply ingrained in my brain. Alright, game over. So Astrobate, not a good opening, but you made a good comeback. And you were thinking while your opponent was like auto-moving. Look, he had 5 minutes. Dude, 5 minutes? What? Oh, this wasn't the streamer battle. This wasn't the Swiss Blitz. I'm sorry. So I lied. I totally lied, guys. Someone might have pointed it out during the stream, but I had the impression it was a 3-0 game. It was actually 5+3. I'm sorry. So Black was playing like way too fast. And Astrobate actually used a chunk of his time. He used over 3 minutes overall. So good job actually taking your time while your opponent was playing too automatically, Astrobate. That's 20 CPL. He made 6 inaccuracies. Misplayed the opening, but he was never worse than just like, you know, half a pawn or something. E5, the Astrobate variation. I don't know what to recommend for Astrobate against the French Schieberspieler. I would prefer to see him playing an open position, where he can play more tactically. But he definitely needs something decent against French. This was a Pierce that became a French. Alright, move 11's up next. We've got about 40 minutes left. Move 11, Sata, and Miralles. I don't know. The advanced variation is... It's okay. I mean, it's not real exciting, though. I mean, I think that a tactical player wants to see a more open position. He's very good in tactics. So, what do we got? So, move 11. Correspondence chance? Chance. Correspondence chance. Guys, please support the stream. Donate a gift sub. And check out our friends, Dragon B70 and Schieberspieler as well, when they stream. Appreciate donations, guys. Don't forget my birthday is in 2 days. So, be the first to make a birthday donation in advance. You like what book? Bobby Fischer Teaches Chess. Jesus. That was probably my first chess book too. Even though it wasn't sanctioned by Bobby. I think it was my first chess book too. No birthday stream. I'm having a pre-birthday stream tomorrow. My birthday is my day off. Alright, so this is Kasparov Mikhail Gurevich from 2000 in Sarajevo. What the heck is that? I'm trying to think. 2000 Garry Kasparov. Pre-Kramnik match. I don't know what this was. Was this was there a tournament in Sarajevo in 2000? I didn't realize Mikhail Gurevich got up to 2694. That's solid. He's a great player and an opening expert in certain things like the Dutch. I thought he probably maxed out around 2675. That's a solid rating. 2694 in 2000. That's practically 2700. I didn't think he ever got up 2700. And 2700 in 2000 was pretty strong. All right, Kasparov. I thought he was already in declining by then. It's the other weird thing. I mean, I remember Mikhail Gurevich from like 1990 winning the World Open. No, it was way earlier. It was like he won the World Open in probably, God, it was like 1987 or something. You would have thought he would have been already like going down by 2000. But he was 2694. Damn. In that time, nowadays it's nothing. Like 2694 is nothing. But in 2000 it was still kind of credible. Here, alright, so Gurevich also plays the French. Yeah, it's a repertoire. French and E6 based. But there's like a million people who are 2700 now. It used to be really, 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 really a big deal. But I mean, going back to 95 in the 90s, you could practically count how many people were 2700 on one hand. Now it's like there are like 100 of them or something. I mean, it's crazy the difference, Schieberspieler. How many people are like 2690 now? There's so many players. Alright, yeah, it's not terrible. I clicked I need a new mouse for my birthday. So d4, d5, knight c3. So here, this is a good line. I don't really like the Rubinstein, and I'm not a French expert, but from White's perspective, Bishop e7 is okay, I guess. It doesn't seem like McCutcheon is trusted, although some people think it's fine. I'm not an expert. I think this is, whereas, this isn't great. I think this is a lot better after bishop g5 taking here is actually one of Black's better lines. Knight e4, bishop e7. Schieberspieler, do you play this? I remember preparing for Sedlak. He plays this for Black, and I was just like considering playing this for White, and I was like, no, it's just too hard for White to get an edge in this line. This is originally a line that Rubinstein himself played with Black, giving up the pawn structure, doubled pawns. I mean, we have this unopposed dark square bishop, and that means for the rest of the game, White's going to have a little bit of problem with the dark squares. I mean, we've given up our strong point, but we got something for it. The problem with I'm talking chess opening philosophy again, but The problem with the Rubinstein is that you just give up your center for nothing. You know, here we got something. White has had to give up their bishop pair. That's a big deal. You know, we have some compensation for the fact that we surrendered our strong point on d5. And when I looked at the database, trying to play this, thinking about playing this with white, I was like, you know what? It's just too much. It's too hard for white to get something here. So let's see what Kasparov did. I know this is a move, like queen d3. I was looking at aggressive lines like this. Queen d3, f5. And again, I think like these type of ideas go way back to Rubinstein 100 years ago, you know, or more. Much more, you know, 110, 115 years ago. It was Rubinstein who first played this way with black, as far as I know. Maybe even older stuff, though. So you left Leela on, and it thinks knight c3 is the most flexible here. Now, right away. You're talking about? Move 11. Well, I think that white wants to keep some pieces on the board. So maybe it's not that dumb. Eventually knight's going to get kicked anyway with f5. It is a bit unusual. Okay, so let's see. Knight f3, a6. This is a standard line. I'm pretty sure, I mean, the main idea is that the b5 square will be under control. It seems weird on the surface, though. I mean, a6. But I guess we're threatening to play c5, essentially, in some lines, more easily, without worrying about, like, bishop b5 check, some kind of interference move. Uber driver, absolutely. I mean, what's up with, like, f5 right away? That's the main line. Now, obviously, move 11 suggestion makes more sense. So I don't know, you know, I mean, for me, a6 is a little bit over the top. I don't know. I think we should play f5. I would trust the main line here. But if you go by the Opening Explorer, and this game's from 2000, but if you go by the Opening Explorer, a6 has the best score for black. b6 has a really bad score, and these are reasonable sample sizes, like 382 games, 400, obviously 700. It's not like 20 games. So I think the sample sizes are large enough that there's some significance to these statistics. I think that they have meaning. You know, 382 games, it's not a lot, but it's quite a bit. So it's surprising. Black has a pretty good score there with a6. Yeah, it looks like 97's a move. The sample size is too small. It's like 39 games. You can't really put any meaning on a sample size of 39 games. I mean, I don't know. Nigel Short variation, apparently. So anyway, there's lots of moves. This is questionable. Kasparov with number 1, g3. Okay, so the idea I was thinking about was stopping bishop b5 check, but it's actually about playing b5. I'm not familiar. This is the number 1 game in this line. I'm kind of grossed out by the c5 square. It's like a Catalan. We've got to be very careful. So it's just like the Catalan. We get in b5, we counter your bishop on the long diagonal. But if we don't get in c5, we're screwed. Black has to get in c5 to unbackwardize himself on the c file. If we don't get it in, we're going to be positionally worse. It's interesting, Kasparov didn't try to play any kind of like hyper-aggressive setup where he was castling queenside. He played very positionally. And the c5 square. But what will Gary do? Will he castle queenside or will he castle kingside? This is also a very nice, you know, part of what you got to understand here too about Kasparov's choice of variation It's like the GF Caro. One of the best lines against the GF Caro is where white plays a setup based on G3 early, because it kills all the black's play along the G file. It's kind of like B3 in the Steinitz, where black has an open B file. You kill the play on the half open file. Every time you have a doubled pawn, you have an extra open file to attack, which is kind of the cool thing about having doubled F pawns, having the ability to attack along that file. This setup makes a lot of sense for white strategically, but I think if black gets in C5, he's probably okay. Gary just castles king side, basically a safe setup. This is way more aggressive if you try to play where you're opposite side castling. Wow. So check this out. There's not that many games, but the vast majority of players castle kingside. To the untrained eye, this is a crazy move. Your kingside is messed up, and a lot of people, beginners especially, wouldn't castle here, but I think the structure is not so bad. We have the dark square bishop. You can't get us on the dark squares. And black hasn't played h6. It would be a lot weaker if we had played h6 or something. So it's hard to attack black's king here. Though I would imagine there would be other moves possible. c5 right away. It looks like a semi-Slav. c5 right away. If you take, we're probably okay. But Zhigalko has a game, one of the Zhigalkos. Rook AD1. What's the engine say? Damn, check out this move, c4. Just when you thought it was safe to come out of the water. White plays c4. I don't think I would even consider that move. Just trying to open it up. If white gets in like d5, it's game over. He's opening the game. That's a crazy idea. Morales, if someone we know would play that move. c4, b takes c4, followed by rook d1. You know your computer, you know, your engine is a computer after that. Like, totally. If somebody played this on the stream against me, I would freak out. c4 followed by rook d1. That's crazy. Alright, anyways, so castles here. You know your engine is a computer. So look at the score here, how solid black is. I think Kasparov was like the only player ever to win this position. One other game. Okay, you get psyched out playing Kasparov in his prime though. He was still world champion. Bishop d5. That's a nice time eater. This move doesn't really do anything. That's possibly why white plays rook f d1, by the way. Besides keeping a4 on the board, it averts bishop c4. Man, this move looks kind of passive. c3. He's setting up a4. That's certainly not a move I would even consider. It looks slow and super passive. Played in 8 games, but, you know, one is going to imagine, like, most of these games were, like, people copying Kasparov. What are the other options? You probably have, like, 10 different moves for white here. And black doesn't have a threat. a3, a4. King h1. I don't understand what c3 does. It reinforces the center, but it's not real exciting. b3. Mr. Adiban played b3. So that's the plan, to play c3, b3, and c4? And so Adiban just cut corners with b3? Maybe he knows something, you know? Maybe he found an improvement. He's threatening to, like, rip black apart with c4 now. So maybe Adibon actually improved. No, it's not about putting the pawns in dark squares. I think Kasparov wanted to play b3, but he didn't like b4. So maybe he's trying to set it up by doing c3 followed by b3 and c4. That's got to be a logical conclusion, no? It's a slow way of playing c4. You do c3, then b3, then c4. But Adibon just cheats and plays b3 right away. And so black goes b4. This is the Adibon game, and then bang, c4 anyway. Now his structure's like screwed up though. Okay, Adibon this is a long time ago, actually. He's a great player, but this was back in 2013. I mean, he was really young. I don't think we can read into this too much. He was probably just being impulsive. And black seems sort of solid here. It's playable, but it's not a... I don't think it's like a brilliancy. Computer likes it, though. Rook c1 and white is better. Anatoly Lang got this position in 2007 against Nikolai Paschall. What? Damn, dude. That's unbelievable. The Lang was even... He was playing like the English and like harmless stuff. It's unbelievable that Nikolai Paschall and Anatoly Lang would get into a theoretical variation like this in 2007. I remember seeing Lane for the last time like around 2006. He was really getting down there, like 2300. This must have been like the World Senior Championship. Alright, anyway, that's the idea. So he's trying to play like a slow c4, f5, 92, and now c5. Very logical play by black. You just take. Damn, dude. And like the computer says that white has a huge advantage with the idea of this. We need to move our queen. Where else would you go? The engine says here. Another Catalan move. It's funny how much similarity there is between this French and the Catalan. Queen c7 was apparently a mistake. Oh. Oh no. Damn, dude. That's brutal. So he sacks in exchange. Man, Gurevich must have been so psyched out at this point, with Kasparov like staring at you and stuff. Even if your position was like defensible, you'd be like melting psychologically. It's hard. Now surprising move, knight d4. Huge compensation. Was this a Stonewall Dutch? I can't remember. Man, there's still maybe hope here. Damn, this is a big problem. Apparently, like, black is holding on. Black should have held on. Kasparov doesn't have enough. He's somehow run out of gas, and now he's like playing for a draw. I mean, theoretically, should be like playing for a draw. Can we grab the pawn on b2? If we grab the pawn on b2, what happens? Some sort of tactic with queen g5 check? Queen b2, queen g5 check, king h8. What's that? Peter wants to take the pawn. Gurevich was scared. I don't see anything, you know. He should have taken his pawn, but he's like, oh no, it's Kasparov. I'm not going to take the pawn. We're going to be safe. But passive defense is always a problem. That's awkward. Dominating the knight. Oh man. The knight is awkward here. You got it back. There's no way that black should lose now. I mean, I would imagine if black offered a draw, white would take it. But I don't know if this was a classical tournament or what. I don't know what time control this was. Wow. Whoa. It looks like Kasparov should be happy to get a draw, man. And he ends up like better. That's crazy. It is a nice illustration of these pieces. Rook d2 check. He trades queens, but what about rook d2 check? I guess just king e3. Now it's over. I think Kasparov knows how to mate with bishop and knight, I'm gonna guess. Yeah, that's not what I was expecting. I was expecting Kasparov to win in a brilliant demonstration, but instead he gets lucky. Move 11. Thank you for the share. All right, guys, we've got a little bit of time left. So, 2 final games. Sada Masa. Sada Masa. This game was important due to one of my losses caused by an inaccuracy in Dembo's book. So I played the same opening again for gaining a little confidence. It's a Grunfeld. I guess Dembo has a book. Dembo has a book on the Grunfeld. I'm not aware of too much in terms of opening books. Grunfeld with d5. I always liked the Grunfeld, but I never really stuck with it. So bishop f4. This line I think is really it's just like a really safe way to play with white. There was a game a couple years ago where Magnus was lost against Van Bailey, but got away and like beat him. But Van Bailey's a really aggressive d4 player. I'm kind of, thinking he would be playing something more aggressive. I think bishop f4 is solid. Obviously white's playing for a win, but it's kind of like getting the bishop out, getting the rook to c1, negating black's play. I don't think bishop f4 is that scary, but you have to know what you're doing. Like, it's kind of technical. Castles, rook c1. So I guess, there's different ways to play here. I mean, c5 is an older type of line. What's up with c5? Bishop e6. Caruana. A lot of players are playing bishop e6. I don't know this too well. But d takes c4 looks like a safe move. Yeah, Magnus played the Grunfeld against Manueli. That was true. He doesn't play the Grunfeld much. Manueli's a good player. But he usually played very aggressive queen pawn stuff. Heavily theory oriented. His theoretical knowledge is renowned. He's excellent in the openings, especially. I feel like bishop f4 is kind of tame for Van Welly, but he was playing Magnus, Anyway, he's beyond his peak now, like most of us. e4, c5. So I don't know anything about this. I have never seen this line. I am completely out of this. Actually, I don't even remember much about e4. I would expect white to play the more common, safer e3. Looks like Karpov Kasparov. E3, bishop E6. Is that one of these old knight G5? Yeah. This is like an older line. This has been around probably for a long time. So Demba suggests bishop G4. Intuitively, bishop G4 looks like a very safe move, favoring development. I also feel like bishop G4 I like better. But I'm just guessing. I mean, I feel safer playing bishop G4, having that piece developed. C5 looks more like a weird, like you're playing some kind of weird Queen's Gambit accepted. But it's a standard Grunfeld plan. I mean, I'm not really equipped to say much here. Clearly, E4 is more aggressive than E3. E3 is old school. Okay, E4, C5. I don't think that E5 looks right, so either white plays bishop takes C4. Can white play bishop takes C4? Looks like there's no games. You still might have bishop G4. This actually happened in a Gonda game from 09. We know Mikhail. I want to call him Mikhail Gonda. He's Russian-Hungarian. We know Laszlo. So even bishop takes C4 is possible. But alright. This looks critical. This reminds me of something else. It reminds me of the bishop G5 variation. There's Luc Van Welly again. So he's not new to bishop F4. He's played this since 92. Interesting. That's really when he was in his prime. We're getting to his prime. The B5 makes complete sense. If you take on B5, we're getting your central pawn. So this looks critical. Toad Andrews. E5. Alright, so my first question is, what happens if knight takes E4? Does anybody know? I assume we're losing the rook, so there's nothing there. But is it that clear? There's no tricks? You never know. There could be some kind of trick. We could have some crazy move like E5 or something. I just want to make sure that we don't have something else here. Like this type of thing would be awesome if we could get this with the threat of Queen A5 check. Maybe white just gets like killed in their bed here. Let's double check there's nothing for black. B5, knight B5. Oh, wow. So this is actually a new move. Knight takes B5. We don't know what theory is. Obviously, your move is the most obvious. We play Queen A5 check, we rip on E4. Let's just make sure this is nothing. I just want to see if there's no trap here. E5. E5 doesn't work somehow. DE6. Obviously. It just refutes it. Okay. Alright, so that doesn't work. We have to play Queen A5 check. Queen A5 check. He has to go back, and we just rip this pawn, and this looks great, you know? I mean, black's active, all the pieces are going to get out. A little problem with the knight on B8. So what is white supposed to do? He has a pin on the queen. So when you play knight takes c3, he has like queen d2. This is not a new idea for these bishop f4 Grunfelds too. It happens in other variations. I've seen it. Other lines. Queen a5 is always bad. So it turns out that like knight takes c3 isn't such a big threat. I'm not sure about bishop takes c4 though, because that could be a problem where that bishop is like hanging For example, bishop c4, knight takes c3. Now if you try to do queen e2, this could be some sort of complication. Maybe queen b4 or something. I'm not real convinced about taking the pawn on c4. So what's white supposed to do? This just looks good. Yeah, it just looks good. Bishop c4, knight c3. Bishop c4, queen b4 right away. That's interesting. An improvement on what I said. You just go queen b4 right away. Yeah, so it just looks like it's bad, man. White has to play e5. And the truth, the variation doesn't score very well for white. Nobody good played it except for Van Wely. I mean, Summerscale and Todd Andrews are decent players, but they're not in the category with Van Wely. It looks like this line just doesn't really work for white. After knight h5, black's just better. So the whole thing's good for you. Yeah, you didn't do anything wrong. You should just be slightly better here. Clearly better. Looks like you played well. Now it's like dark squares versus white squares. It's just a massacre. White's king is done. No, this is just a massacre. I'm not sure about f5. I'm not sure about c4 here. I think here you probably have a much more natural way of playing, you know, without playing f5. I don't know. But I guess everything's good. I don't like playing f5 and like weakening yourself here, personally. Wouldn't be my first choice. We've had a lot of this lately. I also don't love giving up my bishop. I like your ops color bishop situation here. It looks like there may have been an inaccuracy. You could have played king g8. So this was kind of dicey, like the way you decided to continue until the mate here. Don't you have like knight e2 check? No, now you do. Okay. Knight e2 check. This endgame is very dicey, but you're close to queening. Can he even stop you? I mean, c3. Question is rook a2. Can we get the pawn through c2? You also have like f4, f3, which might be very strong. You're probably winning. You just have to be accurate. But the whole decision to play like bishop takes c3, I'm not crazy about. You know, I think that this is a dodgy endgame where you could have been better off. And now you're winning in the rook endgame. Probably. Yeah. Protected pass pawn here, and you're just behind this one. Yeah, some of the decisions in the middle game there were kind of sketchy. You should have been winning easily. But I think the bishop, the dark square bishop, I'm not crazy about bishop takes c3. Again, we see that a lot lately. Alright, so last game, Morales VIP. Have you seen this yesterday's, I believe, impressive game, Dubov-Karyakin? Theoretical novelty in the Italian impressive play. Russian super final. Okay. We gotta take chess bomb cookies. Ugh. These cookies don't taste good. Can I copy and paste this, please? Morales, always a problem with you. It's always a problem with him. I guess we'll give him the VIP treatment. Can I paste this? And it will work? Please? Let me paste this. Alright. Nothing but problems with Morales. We're flipping this. Going to move one. Alright, so who is it? Dubov against who? Karyakin? Ah. Surprise. Oh no, the board? Are you serious? You're kidding me about the board. Morales is nothing but problems. My OBS is not happy with switching tabs. It's not happy that I switched to a different tab. Damn it. Let me try something here. Very angry with Morales. No, I don't know what to do now. I lost my window. Let me try something. Guys, I might not be able to do this game. I'm afraid I might have to like restart the stream completely. I may have to like stop the stream and start it over again. To get it to see the board, which at this stage, it's almost time to finish. It would be a travesty. Are we getting any help there? Still nothing. Maybe I got it. I think I got it back. But it looks funny. So you guys are seeing the completely... What are you guys seeing now? I got the window capture above everything. Alright, whatever. I'm missing my overlay thanks to Morales. But at least you can see the board. I've got to finish up, so this is... I'm going to fix the board so you can see it properly, but my overlay is messed up now. No time to fix that. Let me just fix the board. There. Hey, that's better. Alright. We got it sort of working. That's good enough. Sizing's a little off. But we'll have to live with this. So here we go. Thanks for hanging in there. And Morales is on temporary VIP postponement due to non-submission of standardized game format. Alright. Causing major disruptions by putting in chess bomb links. Streamer doesn't think for clicking. Alright, bishop c5, c3, here we go with b4. Oh my god, what is this? So this is Dubob with white, right? It's got to be Dubob with white. Something crazy. So this is a real game. This is not a Magnus Carlsen 5-minute tournament, right? This is an actual tournament, like the Russian Super Final. I don't understand how they're having tournaments there, like nothing's happening. So they can't... I don't understand something. Can someone explain to me how they can't have the candidates tournament in Ekaterinburg, but they can have the Russian super final. How does that work? Or is like the super final in like Sochi or something? So, what's the reasoning like for that? I don't understand, but whatever. While the rest of the world can't have tournaments. Anyways. Yeah, I don't know. This is crazy. B4, huh? Astrobate style. D4, ED4, B4. Revolutionizing. Alright, so check this out. It seems consistent to play bishop b6. Bishop b7 feels wrong. Safe to say that. Now e5. So this is known, but it appears that most people play d5. Barley, Yanis, notably Estromaripanos, 89. Barley, 92. He's a good player. Almost GM strength. At one point, strong I am. From Slovenia. But honestly, d5 feels more right to me than knight e4. But I don't have the engine on, so I'm just guessing. To me, it seems more traveling non-Russian players for the candidates tournament. Yeah. For me, it's like d5 is more of a constructive move. You're developing this bishop's scope. You're establishing a pawn in the center. Knight e5, I mean, knight e4 is like just moving the same piece twice. Lawrence Trent versus Borisek. So this is the only other game. Those guys were like World Junior Championship 2002 or something. I don't know. But, yeah, I would guess d5 is better. The engine says it's close. So it looks like it's close, but this d5, e takes f6, d takes c4 is, I don't know. I mean, that gets my vote. It feels more right somehow. But it looks like both are playable. So knight e4, maybe black will go with d5 if this game didn't turn out well for Karyakin. I am right about the colors, right? Now my tabs are on the same wavelength. Alright. Maybe the problem is what about... Alright, last game, guys. Let's just check it out. So, bishop d5, right? There's a problem with the knight. I mean, white might have another move here. Trent castled. I mean, that's a little more obvious. Bishop d5, knight takes c3. Someone's like walking into someone else's preparation, it looks like. It feels like a Berlin classical style position for black. So whatever happens here, it looks like black played a slightly risky way, you know. Very similar to Berlin classical, but we've like lost the queen side for white. If it was a Berlin classical, it'd be like pawns on b2 and c3. So this obviously looks dangerous. I mean, white's pieces are very active in Evans' gambit style position. That's another Berlin classical move. Getting out of the pin. And that would keep the pieces on. And black is sort of paralyzed. So I would expect knight g6. But it doesn't mean it's easy for black to get out of this. It looks like he's kind of stuck. Maybe slowly he can wiggle out. But the queen is a big problem. How about knight g6? Bishop g3, queen e7. Hitting the pawn. So this is slightly better for white after a3. Wow. Black cannot equalize with that logical continuation. No, but there's knight f5, right? Wait a minute. There's knight f5. What's up with knight f5? Oh, dude, he has knight f5. He played a5. That's the best move according to the computer. This, I feel like this is a little safer. Maybe. But maybe white is prepared to give that bishop up, because then his knight will be able to come in to like f5 or something. So a5, bishop f6. Oh, man. I mean, is that a move in the event of knight f5, by the way? Can white do that? Like knight f5 here? Maybe that was his plan all along. Oh my god. So that's like an alpha 0 style move. Apparently this doesn't work. gf6. You just take it and go back to f6. Here. So this totally doesn't work. But check it out. So he does a5, bishop f6. Damn. So seriously, black should have played knight f5 while he still had the chance. Said he did a5, walked into this. Oh man. That hurts, because now you're like, what do I do? Clear. What? Whoa. My god, the E file. This looks sick. And we're playing queen takes g6 next? What does he have? Queen c6? Bishop e6. Queen c6 doesn't help. We're getting mated on g7. So bishop e6. Queen g6 anyway. Are you kidding me? So it's tactical brilliancy. Is there still any hope? Or is this just over? Damn, he's holding on here. Apparently. It's very close. Wow. So I guess white is trending rook takes g6 now. Does that even work? Because rook takes g6, queen c4. Rook g7 check. King h8. Rook c7 check. Queen c3. Rook c3. I don't know. Let's see. Did that happen? No. What do I want to play? Black to play. King h8. Rook e4. Oh man. Do we have queen c2 now? This is crazy. Man, it looks like black should be like close to winning now. Is this really sound? It's a draw apparently. Wow, that was a crazy game. A draw according to the engine. And Karyakin's playing for this. He can't take the pawn? Are you serious? Like, you can't take this? Rook takes g7 check? What? Yeah, the pawn's ready. Nothing he can do. Yeah, this became very tough for black. Wow. Time pressure. In time pressure, it may be even lost. That's crazy. Nice game. And the pawn is queening. Even here it doesn't look that obvious, but now it's clear. Even this is still live. He's gonna get mated now with rook e5 though. That's crazy. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of mistakes. A lot of mistakes in that game. But Dubov is an amazing player. But Black must have felt really ill, you know, realizing after queen. This had to come as a surprise. I mean, you play a5 and all of a sudden bang. Like, all he had to do was play knight f5 and he's probably pretty safe. He could play a5 next move. Imagine how he felt like after playing a5 and white played bishop f6. Like, even if you can defend this theoretically, how difficult this is for Black in a practical game against a very dangerous player. He must have been psychologically, you know, in a very bad situation here. Hard to play. Anyway, Jim, thanks for sharing. Thanks for messing up our setup, man, with Chess Bomb. But I did get the window back. Guys, I'm gonna be back for tomorrow's pre-birthday stream, Friday at 11 a.m. CET. Thanks to Schieberspieler and Dragon B70 for joining us and raids. I will check you guys later. We're going to do a raid of our own. So have a great one. I'll see everybody at a later time. Thanks for joining us. Bye-bye.